Hey everyone, and welcome. So, with Ramadan just around the corner, our minds naturally start to think about fasting, right? But what if we've been looking at it all wrong? Today, we're going to explore a really powerful shift in perspective on what fasting is truly all about. Let's dive in. So, this quote right here, this is pretty much the heart of everything we're talking about today. It totally flips the script from focusing on an empty stomach to focusing on a fulfilled soul. It's not about what you're losing, but about who you're putting in the driver's seat. Okay, so let's unpack that powerful statement. We're going to go way beyond just the surface level idea of not eating and drinking and really dig into the true purpose behind the practice. It's a natural first thought, isn't it? Hunger, thirst, sacrifice. But I want you to just pause and think about this question. What if we flip that on its head? What if every hunger pang isn't a sign of what you're lacking, but a reminder that you're taking back control? What if it's actually the ultimate tool for mastering yourself? And there it is. Fasting is a deliberate, conscious choice. It's this incredible invitation to become the leader of your own self, to steer your own ship instead of just being tossed around by every craving and habit that comes your way. So, how does this actually work in practice? Let's think about it with this really powerful metaphor. Imagine Ramadan isn't a month of deprivation, but a spiritual gym. And in this gym, what's our main piece of equipment? It's our relationship with the very thing we're controlling, our food. Okay, so to really get the training, we need to know what or who we're training. In Islamic tradition, the nafs is that part of us, you could call it the ego or the lower self, that's always pulling us toward instant gratification. It's that little voice inside that says, I want it and I want it now, whether that's a sweet treat, a mindless distraction, or even a flash of anger. Now, this is where it all comes together. Here's the game plan. By learning to control that very basic primal urge for food, you're literally weakening the group of the nafs, and doing that sharpens your taqwa, your God consciousness, because you're constantly reminding yourself why you're doing this. And what's the payoff? You restore your own self-leadership. You build these spiritual muscles of confidence, clarity, and discipline that stick with you long after Ramadan is over. Now, this whole idea isn't just pulled out of thin air. It's actually a really complete framework that connects deep spiritual tradition with our lives today. Let's break down what it's built on. So this approach stands on four really solid pillars. It's deeply rooted in the Sunnah, the prophetic tradition, and backed by centuries of classical Islamic wisdom. But then, and this is what makes it so relevant, it also connects with modern science and psychology. And, most importantly, it acknowledges our real-life, everyday struggles with things like food and self-control. And look what happens when you bring all of that together. You get this perfectly balanced message. It's spiritually grounded, so it feels authentic and true. It's emotionally relatable because it speaks to the challenges we all actually face. And it's intellectually credible because it just makes sense with what we now understand about ourselves and how our minds work. The way this message is delivered is just as important as the message itself. This isn't a lecture. It's an invitation. Just look at the difference here. It's not about shame or guilt. It's all about empowerment and self-mastery. It's that firm but kind approach that says, hey, I'm on this journey right here with you, not you have to do this. It creates a sense of community, not judgment. Okay, so all of this brings us right here to a very personal and collective opportunity. This isn't just some nice idea to think about. It's a challenge to be lived, especially with Ramadan right around the corner. And here it is, the challenge. Let's accept this Ramadan as our chance to consciously work on our habits and choose an eating style that's really rooted in mindfulness and gratitude, a style that Allah loves. The whole point is that this is an active choice. It's not just about what you don't do. It's about what you actively choose to do. And that brings us full circle right back to that one powerful question. As you get ready for the coming month, I want you to hold this thought close. Forget the meal plans and schedules for just a second. The real question is this Ramadan, who's going to be in control? Is it going to be those old habits and cravings, or is it going to be you?